Hello there, you're very welcome along to Off the Wall. This is Off the Ball's Game of Thrones podcast with thanks to Discover Northern Ireland and their Game of Thrones territory, boasting over 25 locations and experiences for the ultimate fan. For more, log on to discovernorthernireland.com. We are reviewing The Bells. It is the penultimate ever episode of Game of Thrones. Many of you will be thinking, thank God this television show is almost done. I don't even know what to say, to be quite honest with you, because it was single-handedly the most devastating episode in the history of television in terms of wiping out important characters, in terms of getting rid of what were perceived to be important storylines or what we thought were going to be very cathartic ends to a lot of villains' lives. Character after character after character was wiped out in unbelievably brutal fashion, and to be quite honest with you, I think it's right up there in terms of the most horrifying episodes of Game of Thrones.
Certainly. Carnage.
Sick.
Carnage. Like, the amount of innocent people, like, you know, when you think, oh, they're not going to kill a child. When it comes to Game of Thrones, they're always going to kill a child, you know? Like, children, women.
It was the grimmest episode we've seen, wasn't it?
It was horrific.
Like, have I just whitewashed 7 seasons of Game of Thrones, or was anything that bad before?
No, I've never
it's never been that
like
sick.
that. It was really was shocking.
How surprised were you?
I kind of spoiled it for myself because I'd read leaks, and it turns out they were right. So I kind of could guess what was coming. But even then, watching it unfold, it was carnage. But I actually thought it was a great episode. I actually, like, you know, you text me this morning and said we haven't watched it yet, but we're going to. And I text you back and said I haven't watched it yet myself. And like, I think that was the first time I didn't stay up to watch it. I had the alarm set. Like, and after last week's episode, I set the alarm, and then I woke up. I said, I'll just wait till the morning. But I'm sorry I didn't. Yeah. And I will be setting it for next week because it's back. And I said it needed to come back.
I'm actually happy.
It's back. It's dark. It's very dark. It's...
Okay.
But at least the biggest thing that, like, there's obviously, I have a couple of gripes about it.
Yeah.
But I can see past them because I know they have to wind the story up. And at least there wasn't, like... Tactically, it's what she should have done all along in terms of going down, like Daenerys going down there and taking them out and showing her power. Like, it just shows you what she could have been doing all along.
I've got a big issue with you saying that it's back.
Go on.
Like, I've got no problem with the opinion that it's back, but I've got an issue with you saying it, given the opinions that you voiced on
Friday.
I know.
Because you, in fairness, you had a big issue with Daenerys' character.
That's
How
my
can you
biggest
justify
right
that?
now. That's my biggest right now.
Andy Lee had a couple of nights good sleep.
No, I had a couple of nights soul searching after I listened back to our bonus episode. I was like, what am I doing? I'm sitting here talking about this show like it's real life. Like, it's actually...
Because it matters.
Why are we sitting here, Andy?
I know, I was like, oh my God, like, look at me there, former world champion. Like, look what, where's my street credit gone? Like, where, like, you know, I'm gonna get totally punked. I'm gonna get totally punked now when I walk around the streets like a Dublin 8.
That is the beauty of Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones geek. But, I had to take a step back from it.
No, I'm not allowing you to take a step back, Andy. I'm not allowing.
But this episode did bring me back because there were logical decisions made, and it played out the way it should have played out.
Killing innocent people.
Yeah, there were no. In terms of that's what she could. My biggest gripe is obviously they're setting Daenerys up to be the Mad Queen now, and apparently she's gone full Mad Queen.
But she's gone full Mad Queen.
And what was it that did it? Like, in the end, it was the tolls of bells that, like, sent her over the edge, because the bells from the start of the episode all the way up to the moment of them ringing,
Tyrion kept talking about it.
There was always being mentioned. They were being set up, like, when we ring these bells, it's over. But it's not. It's only the beginning of it.
Well, myself and Owen are Game of Thrones buddies, and the whole way throughout the episode, as we watched it this morning.
Not sure about the Game of Thrones buddies. Is that official?
Well, we were watching it together, man. We're there together. We're experiencing it. We're enduring it together. All the horrors, all the ills, all the rights and the wrongs. But as we were watching it, Owen's like, someone's going to ring the bells. I was like, it's going to be Jamie. Owen was like, it's going to be Tyrion. I can't remember what you said exactly. Like, you thought Cersei was going to ring it and pretend that was it. She was going to let Daenerys in. Like, when Dany is sitting on the dragon and you know something's going on in her head, I didn't think she was going to do what she did and absolutely incinerate the whole city.
Her and Grey Worm had it planned.
They had it planned.
Because as soon as those bells ring, he's the first one to kill a Lannister soldier. He doesn't hold back. He spears him. And
Do you
so
think they had a
I
plan?
think they had a plan because they didn't inform anybody of the plan. Really, they were saying like, "Wait from you'll know." She just says interestingly, earlier in the episode, they're speaking in
And she sends them off
in their own in High Valyrian. Yeah, and she says like, although it's subtitled, they might have they're kind of established that they kind of have their own understanding.
Well,
and then he's like, "You'll know. Wait for me. You'll know when it's time to come in." You know.
The thing is, Grey Worm had nothing to live for after Missandei went and died. Like, Daenerys has a kingdom to rule. She just incinerates them all.
Yeah.
The telling moment was, do you know that shot that we see her the first time, you know, at the start of the episode, where you see Varys at the start, this is going to be good. Then you see Tyrion in the next shot. Then you see Varys with Jon, and you see Tyrion with Daenerys. And when you see Daenerys that time, she's sickly looking.
Yeah.
She's obviously strung with grief. She's really strung. Like, it's... Yeah, she's sick.
She's demented looking.
Man, if your best friends all get killed, how are you holding up? How are you dealing with
Probably.
it?
From the early throws of the episode.
The beer. You're not hitting the dragons.
You're probably right, Andy. You're probably right.
To be fair, I can actually kind of justify.
I think this is my biggest gripe with it because she's the breaker of change. She kind of ended slave culture, rape culture. She ended all of this stuff. Like she fought for it for 7 seasons. Like, you know. And she kind of turned the Dothraki around, who are known for pillaging and raping and sacking places. Like, and my biggest gripe is that now it's like just because of these not setbacks, but
yeah, but that's kind of my point as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that they've set her up, but it's not her. It's obviously it's the writing of the show that
they painted a pathetic picture of her.
There have been small signs along the way, like she's burned 1 or 2 people throughout nearly in every season. You know, she has consistently burned people. But it's not, this madness has not been planted. Like you say with her father, he was mad. Like, in the end, he wanted to burn them all. He was mad. He thought that if he set the wildfire in King's Landing, he would emerge from the ashes and become a dragon. He was completely mad. But he was mad for a long, long time. And he had been cruel and murdered people and killed people for a long, long time before that. So Daenerys not been really set up like that.
When did she become the Mad Queen?
I think
they've written it in the last 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Would you even give them that much credit?
She's not the Mad Queen when she's defending Winterfell.
She's not.
Exactly. Would you even give them 3 episodes of credit?
You're probably right, yeah.
It seemed to me like.
But it needs
Varys was the moment that we realised.
3 seasons, not 3 episodes. You know, for the payoff of this. You know.
And I accept that, and that's why I have an issue with you saying that it was a great episode.
Look, and I, like I said, I'll take. It has to be. It has to be. There was like, take that away from it. You know, it's still like.
Pretend bonus episode never happened.
No, do not. Like that. My gripes with episode 4 will always stand.
Yeah.
This came back in some way. You look at the great moments they had, like Tyrion setting Jaime free, knowing that he's gonna. This is the end of him. That if Daenerys finds out, he's gonna. And he says it like, you know. Tens of thousands of lives, innocent lives for one guilty dwarf. It's kind of makes sense, you know. And the acting in that scene between the two of them, it was top notch, you know. And
they're the 2 strongest actors in the show, I think.
Jaime had some great moments throughout the whole thing.
Jaime, yeah. Cersei was good at the end as well. There was some brilliant, like the Hound and Sansa, Arya inside the map room towards the end, where he's like, you know, if you come with me, you're gonna die.
Do you know what I think we saw? I think we saw a lot of characters revert to type in this episode.
100%. I do want to get back to how they killed off some of the villains. But can we just stick with Daenerys for just a moment?
Yeah.
The dialogue with Jon early on, you guys mentioned it there a second ago, that's a really telling scene for me. When he says to her, you are my queen, and she says something along the lines of, is that all I am? Which to me seemed like a bit of a contradiction, given she was starting to show signs of a queen that was only interested in power. It didn't really matter what anybody else thought. So Jon Snow saying to her, you are my queen, is the most important thing that Jon Snow can say to her, in my opinion. It doesn't matter what her own personal feelings are. Granted, at the end of the show, that's actually hammered home more. Like, she is clearly... she's crazed with the idea of power at this point. She is in this situation now where she's in control, and Jon Snow, who ultimately is a rival to the Iron Throne, said to her, you are my queen. Like, I don't understand how that sort of stuff just isn't good enough.
It was, yeah, but obviously she wants more of their relationship, because there's a kiss, and then he pulls back from her, and then she says, well, like, you know, is it hate or love? You know, about the subjects of King's Landing, all the 7 kingdoms of Westeros.
Is it fear or love?
A fear of love, yeah.
And was that the moment?
She says it's fear, and to me, that was her last chance. That was her last chance at redemption for herself, for her character. Like, had Jon just embraced her and said, it's more, and just played
along. But
played along, you know.
Johnny
Jon,
boy never does that, does he?
Honest Jon.
You know, Jon could have stopped all this.
He could have, yeah.
If he had actually just followed through on his actual instincts and convictions, he could have stopped it. But he's half-arsing it half the time.
It's a good point what Daenerys says, like, you know, you betrayed me. You betrayed me to Sansa, and Sansa betrayed me to Varys, and you're as good as killing them as...
I don't think it was weakness from Daenerys. I think that her only way of measuring loyalty is someone like Jorah being in love with her. Like, if Jon was to commit to her in that way, she might have been able to trust him, but nobody else in Westeros has she been able to trust. Even though they said to her face, you're my queen, I'm your hand, they've all failed her. So that was her only way. If Jon was in love with her, that was the only way that she was going to be able to keep him.
Could I just say, harking back to last week, I told you so.
All pulled back from being a mad queen.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
I told you so. About Varys. The two of you laughed at me when I said he really believes in the realm, and the realm is the important thing. It's not bollocks. He was actually speaking his mind, and his real, firmly held belief was that the realm is the most important thing, and he always acted in the best interest of the realm. I told you so.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know.
But he didn't do much.
You're a bit of a Varys yourself,
He didn't do much. Like,
all I care about is the realm.
I guess he was just, you know... He was just a sounding board for the characters, and for him to hammer home that she was going mad. Like, after season 4, season 5, there's none of like the manoeuvring of people, or, you know, the manipulation of people that Varys was known for, and what makes him so great. He just basically is just hanging around until to this point.
So you were happy to see him killed off, or you weren't sad anyway?
He made no difference.
See, the world changed though, Andy, in Game of Thrones. Like, there wasn't really much room for that sort of movement at that stage. Like, everyone was moving towards war.
Yeah, but the Master of Whispers, he hadn't had no inside information to give anybody. You know, he didn't. He wasn't aware.
He lost you when he didn't know who the king or the ruler of Storm's End was.
Let's talk about the Red Keep and the characters that were in there. So we'll get to the Clegane Bowl in a moment. We'll start with Cersei. For anybody who really hates Cersei, not me, obviously, I thought she's a fantastic character. Would it be an unsatisfying way for her to go for the Cersei haters?
She is one of them. Like, talk about a character, like a three-dimensional character developed and acted perfectly by Lena Headey. Like, and for her just to die under a crumble of bricks, it's maybe a little bit dissatisfying for some people. But the fact that she and Jaime were together and they knew it was the end, I think it's fitting. I have maybe a bit more trouble with Jaime. This, like, it's a lot of people are, like, online and the community kind of have with his story arc that he was obviously bad, came around to being good, helped Cersei realised Cersei is no good for him, that she's the one that's dragging him down, becomes good, and then at the last moment goes back to Cersei.
Yeah, well, the two of them went around that roundabout a few times. Yeah, in terms of showing a bit of humanity.
And people are complicated, and obviously their relationship, brother and sister, is more complicated than anything. But
Jaime broke the veil with her in that last couple of scenes. Like, you actually felt like Cersei was a human. She had fear. You could tell that she was delighted to see him.
To the end,
but she was still. She became more of herself, I suppose, in those last moments. She reverted to type. You know, was the prophecy that you will die in the hands of your little brother? Is that what it was?
The Valonqar is your little brother. I don't see. It's,
you know, at the hands or in the hands.
A wrap around your neck, like, and it's. I can't remember the direct prophecy now, but it was like that he would strangle you, or strangle the life out of you, or something like that.
Okay.
But it was. But maybe it's a version of that. Yeah. With prophecy, it's always kind of vague enough to be fulfilled in a lot of different ways.
I kind of expected her to have a move up her sleeve.
My most favourite death. Yeah, you thought she might have just got out.
Not even that. I thought she might have done something to the dragon, maybe, or something. Like, she's overseeing everything, and she's so calm. Yeah. Or maybe it's just that she's so unrealistic that she's calm.
Yeah, so in denial. Yeah. What's actually happening in front of her. But, like, my favourite death of the whole thing was Qyburn.
Yeah.
Splat.
Yeah. What the...
But let's talk about, like, what the hell is... Sir Gregor, like, what the hell is he? He's Grey Tulane, the Mountain. Like, what is he? Like, he's been stabbed in the eye, stabbed in the brain, stabbed in the heart, stabbed all over, and just nothing. Like
a mixture
what
of the Hulk.
did Qyburn do to him? Like,
Yeah.
like, we'll never find out. That's like it's.
Is that a fully television spectacle? The whole.
No, there is. There's a character in the books called Robert Strong who's been brought back.
Yeah.
And in the books, it just ends with Cersei's walk of shame. So he's there to meet her, and she goes into his arms. Similar in the show.
Yeah.
That's where it ends. So it's not really fleshed out what he is or who he is, but it's highly hinted that it's the mountain being resurrected. But like in terms of. Like, it's a good job they fell off the cliff because he would have been around.
He wasn't going. He
I
wasn't
would have
stopping.
getting rid of him. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Do you remember-
And, like, he denied. Sorry, but he obviously has his own will and desire.
And emotion.
Instead of just being this drone who just takes commands because he denies Cersei when she asked him to stand by her side, and then when Qyburn, he just splats him. And that was the one death I was like, oh. Yeah.
He's like a level between the Night King and the White Walkers. He's a bit too stupid to be up there.
Yeah, but he's not like. He's invincible.
Yeah, he really is. Just on the Cersei prophecy, the exact line was from HBO's version. Oh, sorry, HBO's version of the prophecy left out. When your tears have drowned you, the Valonqar shall wrap his hands around your pale white throat and choke the life from you.
That's not in the book. That's not in the show.
That's not in
It's
the show,
book.
exactly.
Yeah. So
That's the exact one there. So it probably.
Bit of a tweak.
Yeah, you'd like to think they deliberately left out that part of the prophecy just because they knew this is going to how it would end. But just on the mountain, do you remember Kane in WWF?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly who he looked like.
he looked like the guy from the. I don't know what the guy he is now. He's in. You ever watch Doctor Who? The guy with the big fat head and no neck.
Oh,
He's like a robot from the shoulders down. You know, that guy.
In terms of the Clegane Bowl, did it live up to your expectations?
It was good. It was great. It was
pretty
good.
good.
It was good. There was some great shots, like the dragons flying overhead, and like it was. You would have liked to see them matched on. Like obviously, the mountain had the upper ground. Like he had the advantage. Obviously, he was bigger man. The older brother had all the advantages, and he also had the higher ground. So like the Hound was fighting up. I was totally up against it, but.
And the Hound has learned from Arya.
And if it was they were both human, then the Hound would have won it easy because he stabs him quite early, you know.
That was a great scene though with the Hound and Arya.
Yeah, it was.
That was one of my favourite
scenes.
scenes.
It really, really was. Like, and she has to check herself. And like you talk about the characters reverting to type, when she leaves that scene, she is back to herself, running around.
Yeah.
And then after
She had fear.
after witnessing all of what's gone on, I think she's back to being a killer. I think she's back to death.
When she's riding out on the horse at the very end.
Well, it's the pale horse.
Yeah.
Death rides on a pale horse, you know, and here she's going to come. Wow. And to me, like, full spoilers for next episode. But close your ears or turn off right now. Like,
Well, are you about to talk to us about a leak?
yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Should I or not?
Okay.
Like, I'm just saying this is my prediction. This is not a leak. My prediction.
Okay, so it's not a leak.
In the leak. No, go on. No, I can't say because.
Andy, can't be teasing us like this.
Can you give us a hypothesis that's not based on fact?
Okay, so you haven't read this.
I'm thinking Arya's going to kill Daenerys.
That's not a leak because I said that already.
Yeah. Well, like all the time, Sue has been saying. Sue's not here at the moment. She's been saying that John's going to kill her.
Sue's in Vegas.
That's heavily like hinted, but I'm thinking Arya now. When I saw that horse, I'm thinking it's going to be Arya.
Why did Sue believe John was going to kill her?
I don't know. Maybe she read the leaks and is claiming it for her own.
Classic Sue.
Yeah. But like, I think we're skipping them far ahead. We're right at the end of the episode now, but along the way, like, we should be mentioning some of the stuff that went down. Like, what did you think of like the Golden Company? They've got to be the most useless.
Yeah, another
Useless.
pointless plot device, and you can't even call it a plot device.
Like,
That'd be giving too much credit.
like he just got mowed down by the duffer. Like they absolutely did not. Like in the face of a dragon burning you from the rear, you can't do much. And then you're being, then the Dothraki have their fun. You know?
I'm surprised there's still a few Dothraki left.
Well,
So like
that's another hot, like, you know.
the plot device of the bank manager was to introduce the Golden Company, which was ultimately going to lead onto something bigger because the bank manager was this spooky character at the end of the last season.
Yeah.
And it's like, I keep calling him the bank manager. But like, did they just change their mind on that? Did they just decide that the Golden Company wasn't important?
Like,
I just had no room for it.
I don't see how you can do that.
Another gripe with the episode is, but we must have spent a good 15 minutes of the episode showing people getting burned up. Like, we're like, okay, we've got this already. There's so much other stuff we could be investing this time in an episode, whereas the penultimate episode of the last season, where we could be moving things along story-wise, plot-wise, instead of just watching people burn.
We surpassed the
reason we
grid
did all
threshold,
that
yeah.
is because they want to drive home that Dany's gone mad, that her death's going to be justified, that people won't be upset when she gets killed, I think, next episode.
Yeah, well, it also shows to us the relentless nature of war, and ultimately they probably came to the realisation that they've turned Daenerys into a villain extremely quickly. They now need to backtrack on that, and they need to ensure that we root against her at this point. And as you say, giving a prolonged sense of chaos, a prolonged sense of terrible crimes being committed against civilians is a surefire way of doing it. The question is, though, is that just a cheap device?
Would it not be better if we were rooting for Daenerys and she was killed? Would that not be better? Like, is that not better television?
I think, it's... I don't know.
Is it not a better script when there's a shroud of humanity that she's clinging onto? That she doesn't go and do that?
Maybe, does she have a shred of humanity left anymore? Is there a redeeming feature here anywhere?
I like, in some ways, like, I don't know about, like... Up to that point where she's burning all those people. You're on her side still.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
No.
You're not.
I said this last week. After last week's episode, I felt it had shifted dramatically against Daenerys.
What did she do last week?
I think she had a chance of redemption if she hadn't...
she had stopped when the bells rang.
Well, no.
Then it's all good.
If she'd just gone straight for the right keep. If she'd gone straight for Cersei.
What she did last week was, again, another pivotal scene with Jon immediately after the celebration in Winterfell, talking to him and begging him not to tell anybody. Now, she has this as a righteous cause. You may argue that he was wrong to tell somebody. I thought he was right. I thought that this is a very important piece of information, and she should have had the trust.
Not one way around that.
I'm never telling you the secret.
Queen, it's just say, I'm your queen and I command you not to tell anybody. There's this whole big plot gone.
Yeah.
You know, I command you to obey my wishes and remain silent on this.
Or, as somebody who clearly loves Jon Snow, could she not treat him like an actual adult and trust him to impart that information and still maintain that she is his queen? The lack of trust began, and it was sown deep inside Daenerys.
That doesn't make her a villain, though.
It did to me. It showed. Well, sorry, it didn't make her a villain. It definitely created enough of a doubt in her motive that I started to root against her in the last episode. That's why I started to root for Varys, and I was like, we need to stop Daenerys getting to this position.
Two episodes ago, you were rooting for the Night King.
To be fair, that's probably foreshadowing the sort of chaos that we thought would ensue.
A little bit.
I was always a Cersei guy. Always a Cersei guy.
Look at this guy.
He is Varys.
Look at this guy.
He'll not sit the eye in front of the end.
Look at the fingers in the background.
Sit the eye in front in the end. He'll be here. We'll all be wiped out of the studio, and he'll be here on
whispering Kerry G is little secrets.
I was always a Cersei guy because of the complexities in her character, and she was a brilliant villain. I was never a fan of Daenerys.
Yeah.
Now, if I was Varys,
I just have gripes how to like.
I feel sorry for Daenerys.
I was never a big Daenerys.
I think she's been done a disservice. I think it's been too quick. I think the drop into madness has been too fast.
There's been some suggestion, actually, good suggestion online, that it's a sexist storyline. The whole woman goes crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what you think of that.
There is the world has changed with Game of Thrones. Whenever it was, what was it, 2010 or 2011 when it first aired.
But when was it written?
Times have changed. But even in the books, George R. R. Martin, female empowerment is a huge thing. He's very much has a feminist, not agenda, but he's very much sides with the feminists or whatever. He writes strong female characters, and as the show progressed and as times changed in the real world, you could see the prominence of the women coming into the show. Cersei, Daenerys, Sansa. Even though Sansa had tough times along the way, a lot of hard times along the way, women became very prominent in the show. But now this bit at the end, I don't buy it. You know, I don't have it. Not like I don't. It's definitely going against that.
Exactly.
I would agree that
here is a strong.
If this and someone said if she was a man killing people with a sword, it's all fine. John executed Ollie, the guys who stabbed him. One was a child.
Yeah.
The child was fully justified in stabbing John because John had let through all these violence.
Who killed his family.
Who killed his whole family, raped his village and killed his family. And all of a sudden John's out welcoming him with open arms. And obviously he's just still a child. He's been manipulated by the older people in times of Castle Black. And then John executes him. So is John mad? No, Ned Stark, in the first scene of the whole show, Ned Stark beheads a man because he's running away because he betrayed his Night's Watch vows because he saw the White Walkers. But he doesn't investigate it, doesn't ask him what he saw.
He's noble though, Andy.
Back up, boom, off with his head. Is he mad? Like, this is a brutal word. The fact that it's just a dragon makes it... I guess it's a family history. That
I
don't know.
I think there are roots in that point, because I can remember a couple of weeks ago we were discussing the potential of 3 Mad Queens, and it just seemed to become a
common occurrence.
It kind of seemed to be something that they were hinting at the whole time, that the main women in the show were always on the brink of
a humongous character flaw.
Yeah.
As in, usually, and that character flaw is usually being completely batshit crazy. Like, that is essentially the picture they paint of their prominent female characters. It's something I actually hadn't really considered until I kind of saw it earlier on.
Brienne got done dirty last week. You know, Brienne got done dirty. Like, you know, like you said, I thought she would hold it in. Like, when she completely broke down and was like weak for Jamie. You know what I mean? When you said, I thought that they would write it as if she would, like, okay, will you go down there? I'm still Brienne, you know? And she wasn't. She was out there in the cold, in the middle of the courtyard in Winterfell, like, crying for Jamie. So
the reality here is that nothing here, from the writer's point of view, is deliberately sexist. It's actually just a result of very quick efforts to tie up plot lines. That is what we're seeing here. So that's why Daenerys went mad so quickly. That's why they got rid of Missandei so quickly. The Sansa story, like, that's an interesting one, and I guess George R. R. Martin had much more of a hand directly from the books in her character arc. But it is something worth considering. Like, I wonder, does Cersei does she get remembered now in a far more noble way, given the way her character arc ended? I would say yes. I would say, like, the ending for Cersei haters, not me, would be a dissatisfying one, like, just because she died by rubble. But also, you got to think about not only the way she died, but the person she was when she died.
Yeah.
What do you mean, the person she was when she died?
The more soulful, crying, emotional, I want my baby to live.
That's
I don't
5
want to
minutes.
die.
Yeah. That's
something.
She's still in the end, she's still responsible for bringing all those people inside the walls. You know,
she could have surrendered.
Like,
the game was
that
up.
Point's been made in the show that, like, this is Cersei's fault. They're in there because of her. She's putting her people.
She brought them all in.
But it's only going to be remembered as
she locked them all in.
Yeah.
Like,
she thought she was protecting herself.
Fleshed out ending for Cersei. The character that's been the main person of the show for a long, long time. One of the best actors in the show, one of the best characters in the show and books. And then she's killed under another rubble.
Oh, that made you happy? Stabbing in the back?
No, that she's pulled in like there's a court, or she's held accountable, that she's, like, stripped down verbally, and they finally, like, and that justice is done in some sense.
But didn't Cersei have that with shame? Didn't we see that with Cersei?
Yeah, but I mean, but like...
Then the red keep happens.
That was a whole other thing, like, that just wiped out, like, they were building up the... building up, like, the what they call the sparrows, like...
Yeah. That was mad. Do you know when you look back? Well, actually, no, we can't have this conversation now. We'll have to have it in one of the post-show episodes. The most evil act, like Daenerys.
The whole thing.
Like, when you're thinking Ramsay, you're thinking Cersei, what she did. Obviously, now Daenerys just tops it by the sheer mass numbers of people that she's slaughtered. I don't know.
Well, Daenerys for me is absolutely number one. And also, it's just
that we got to see it. We didn't see people, innocent children, running around the streets when Cersei blew up the set.
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't see all that. It wasn't shown, but they've made a point of showing us all this stuff, this, like, horror, because it's gonna justify Dany's end.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of a harder thing to get behind as well, Daenerys' cause. The one other villain we wanted to talk about, or should we give him any time at all, is Euron Greyjoy. Do we want to waste a couple of minutes talking about
his
this?
His last final line, like, his whole, like...
He gets a great line to end on.
He does, I know, but, like, this is the king of the king of the Iron Island, the so-called king of the Iron Island.
He's the king of the realm. Is he not with Cersei?
Like,
you slayed another king.
Circumnavigated the world of Planetos. He's just a terrible character in the show.
Did he not have a bit of a Stannis-like end, where it's kind of like, is he really dead?
Is he off screen? He's dead.
Yeah, I think he is.
True, in a twist, you're dead.
Yeah, like, so that's it.
In this medieval world, if he doesn't, knife doesn't, the infection will, we'll get you. No Qyburn around to save him.
That's a good point as well. Can't turn into Cain.
It was in the cave. You made the point, it was in the cave that we stood in a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that's like...
Up by cushion.
I was watching, we were getting a lot of like callbacks to our little trip up.
That was a great trip to discover Northern Ireland.
Thank you, Northern. Yeah, because I think we saw the King's Landing set. We saw it.
Can you talk us through that moment once more in the car park for once freely?
Yeah,
you can let us know what you saw.
Well, we went to this exhibition of the game. We went to see that we were the first at the unveiling of the Game of Thrones experience. In
it was early April.
Yeah. I was 3 and Sue, and we pull into the car back, and I'm looking at the King's Landing set completely burnt, and I couldn't believe it. It was out in the it wasn't completely out in the open, but you could easily see all the tops of the buildings, the gates.
Yeah, it was out. It's in the docks. It's down by Harlan and Wolff. It's in the exhibition centre.
And it was all completely burnt, unless it's a huge spoiler, for the whole season, and it was just out there, We
were trying to rush into the press conference, and Andy is freaking out, jumping around, saying, "Look what they have out! Look what they have out!"
And now we know why.
Yeah, he kept quiet on it.
We thought it was Wildfire. We thought it would have been the Night King, but it was Danny.
We got to saw the vision, the dragons flying over the Red Keep.
And we saw, which we'll see in a while in the next episode's preview, looks like it's snowing. In the episode when there's white stuff, I'm assuming that's ashes.
Yeah.
Ashes and dust, yeah. And but Danny has said in previous season, I don't want to be the one who rules I don't want to rule the ashes. Yeah, so now looks like she's going to do that.
Well, we'll get to that in just a moment. One last theme I wanted to touch on before we get to the teaser is the idea now that all the traditional villains that have ever existed in the show are now wiped out completely. We now have the one villain. I assume we're all viewing Daenerys as a villain here. Kind of, you could be on both.
I'm kind of grey, yeah, but...
Okay, well then let's go with this. All the villains are dead.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
Well, I think it's probably timely. In this it's the last episode, and I do want to see some sort of... I don't want it just to end with the end. I do want to see an epilogue. I want them to have the plot, all of this stuff tied up in the first half of this next episode, and I want it to be some sort of flash forward or some sort of resolution of how the war continues when this story's over, when this battle of the kings and queens and whoever sits the Iron Throne. I'd like whoever's sitting on the throne to be done halfway through the episode, and I'd like to see some sort of ending.
I don't know how we're going to console you, man.
No, I'm happy. This is it now. This is the end of it. I'm not free. I'm free after this. I am free. I don't have to... I won't be looking up YouTube. I won't be reading theories. I won't be on Reddit. I will be free of Game of Thrones.
I wonder, is what happened in the last episode a message to all of us viewers? Kind of a screw you to everybody who watches the show, the people who sit at home saying, I hate villains and, I want the good guy to win in the end. And the showrunners have just said to us, no, screw you, this is what happens. Here's your wish, let's kill off all the villains. Here's what happens. all the good dies with the villains.
Lads, I think you're right. Daenerys, we even boxed into a corner here. Daenerys
Tyrion's gonna have to... Daenerys gonna get Tyrion.
Yeah.
He's gonna have to pay for freeing Jaime. There's gonna be some sort of... I don't know.
How would she know that he freed Jaime? How would she know in the midst of all the madness?
Why isn't he still captured?
Okay, I suppose.
And he ordered the Unsullied away. He'll just ask the Unsullied, how did Jaime escape? Tyrion said, leave us alone. Next thing he's gone. Where is he now? Nobody knows.
Was there not an element of Jon? Now, one of the grimmest things I thought was the Northerners, how they acted in the Red Keep when they started going for the women and children. But Jon then gets his men to retreat. Was Daenerys not burning everybody? Did she care whether it was her men or not down there?
But there was wildfire going off as well at that point.
There was, true.
So it was just get him out there. Yeah,
that was quite a symbolic thing as well, wasn't it? That the wildfire was only a mere speck on the screen, and the dragonfire was...
Let's talk about Drogon, man. What a killer. What a power.
Ruthless.
Showed him, that's what you can do.
Rhaegal is about 1/10 of the dragon that Drogon is.
Rhaegal was only a pup,
He must have been.
He was your favourite, wasn't he?
I liked Rhaegal, yeah.
There was an inconsistency in the mortality of the dragons.
Yeah, there definitely was, yeah.
Suddenly, in about 40 seconds, the entire fleet was wiped out.
Weapon of mass destruction.
Yeah, that fleet that killed Rhaegal pretty easily.
Yeah.
Didn't really like that. What happened to the crossbow prowess this time?
Ballistas was just useless.
It's
just the difference of having a rider.
And she knew what she was doing, I suppose, that time. She acted like she did.
Will we get on to the next episode? We'll have a look at the teaser first of all, because there's a couple of bits. It's not too detailed, but we will have a look at this. This is the teaser for the last ever episode of Game of Thrones. So as you can see, Daenerys there presiding over a chaotic situation. It does look really dark there.
And the thing, with the shading.
Tyrion's still walking.
Yeah.
He's been walking for
The thing with Tyrion in this episode is that he's just hanging around, standing around, looking
on the outside.
Pensive. He's one of the most recognizable men in the kingdom.
He must be a good bit outside.
Be a target, that's another thing with this. The plot armor of mainly Arya of episode 5. That how many times could she have died during the flee trying to get out of it, and she just kept surviving. She was
saved by that lady as well, wasn't she, and her child? And then they were both died.
Who she then inadvertently killed by saying, "Come with me, you're gonna die."
She's probably right though. The whole place is crumbling.
That really is a grey area, would they have survived or not? So we see Tyrion there. What is Arya's role now? Is it in her mind?
I think she's going to go for Daenerys. It'd be interesting to see if she succeeds, if she can do it, and by going for Daenerys, she risks herself.
Mm-hmm. That's really that's if you're making predictions here, the whole thing has been set up for us to believe that Arya is going for Daenerys. She's on her way to get Cersei. The Hound stops her right beforehand. It scares her a little bit, sends her off. She survives all this.
And he tells her about revenge. The foreshadowing is, look at me. I've served revenge since I was born. If you go down this path, you'll end up like me. And how does he end up? Dead.
So are we going to see Arya with her face scarred with fire from Drogon and?
Would Arya be dead?
I don't know. The end of and then who does the deed? Is it Jon? Will Sue's prophecy come true? Or is it Tyrion?
If Daenerys kills Arya, then I guess everyone will feel justified in someone killing.
Arya's just ended the Night King.
I know.
How could she justify that?
Have we seen the end of Winterfell?
I think not. Yeah, maybe as a location, but I think some of the characters might come down. We might see.
Sansa's not leaving Winterfell.
I don't know. She might come down if it's at the end of, if she hears Dany's dead or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
There has to be some sort of great council at the end. Once this kind of once they, I don't know.
If there's going to be a great
Jon's not on Dany's side now. He's seen what she can do, what she's capable of, and he has those. That's been planted in his mind that she's mad, that she's the Mad Queen by both Tyrion and Varys. And he's seen it, so he's gonna be up against that.
Jon was the closest to her. How did he not see it coming?
Because it's not real. It's just been,
And that is a real, that's a real nail in the coffin in terms of an endorsement for Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
That is
this final season, last 2 seasons. This season, last season.
I think your attitude there at the start of the episode sums up the issue with Game of Thrones. That you're actually suddenly thinking to yourself, I shouldn't be caring this much about this.
Yeah. Well, that's
at its peak. I bet you never had that thought.
No, and that's why this is really cathartic for me. You talk about the characters having cathartic ends. This is good for me because I'm so disappointed. I can walk away now and not
ever care about it again.
Yeah, just be let it go. Just wait for the book.
I don't know how to describe what I'm feeling off you right now.
It might change it now in front of you.
I don't know what it is. I feel kind of sad.
No, I'm happy to be out there. I'm happy. This will be good when it's done. One more episode next week. Is this going to be are we going to have a few more? Are we going to?
Yeah, we might do a few more.
Season wrap.
Yeah, we'll preview the spin-offs.
Yeah.
George R. R. Martin will suddenly finish the book as soon as HBO are done with this picture. I don't know. The one, just my final thought on this is that there's no way Daenerys is now winning. If you think about the logic of the writers at this point, they've sped things up so much that they want to give us a happy ending.
Well, it's always been said it's going to be a bittersweet ending, and that would probably be. It's already bittersweet. Whoever sits the Iron Throne now, do we really care?
No.
Do we?
No.
I don't think so.
Everything they did in the last episode was bittersweet. I mean, the Cleganes killing each other, bittersweet. Cersei and Jaime dying at the same time, bittersweet.
Is it though? It's only bittersweet for people like you.
Bittersweet is Cersei.
No, it was bittersweet. It was, yeah.
No, you care about Jaime, but you don't care about Cersei.
I know.
It was the only really satisfying death was Qyburn.
Bittersweet is the easiest thing to create as a showrunner. You pick a good character, you pick a bad character, you kill them at the same time. I could write that shit.
So Jon and Dany, bittersweet.
Yeah, there you go. And Arya sits on whatever throne exists.
I don't think Arya will sit. Sansa. I've said it from the start that Sansa will sit the throne.
So you want to update our map, or is there any point? Is there any point?
Throw this whole thing in the bin.
Well, Winterfell are all safe. Are they?
Oh, I forgot Bran Stark is still around.
Yeah.
Jamie.
And Sam.
What a useless
Yeah,
character.
like Jamie dead. Bron's
Hound.
still around hanging.
Oh, Bron is
The
still
Hound
there, yeah.
gone.
Still going.
Cersei, you're on.
Davos is still there, isn't he? Yeah.
Davos is still there.
Varys gone.
Varys is
It's
gone.
Is
very
Grey Worm
small
still
group.
alive? Grey Worm's
Worm's
still
still
alive.
there.
And this is it now.
So let's go through these characters. So we've got Brienne, we've got Sansa, we've got Bran, we've got Sam and Gilly, we've got Bronn somewhere in the middle, and then we go down to King's Landing, and we've got Arya, we've got Grey Worm, we've got Sir Davos, we've got Jon Snow, we've got Tyrion, and we've got Daenerys Targaryen. And that is our penultimate update on the map.
Final prediction for who sits the Iron Throne.
At this point, okay, so I can say with confidence I don't think it's going to be Daenerys. It comes down to three people then. Arya, I don't think it's going to be her. Then it comes down to Jon or Sansa. I think it's going to be Jon, the reluctant leader. But I think the last episode was a very good endorsement for Sue's theory that there isn't going to be an Iron Throne. There might not even be a King's Landing after what we just witnessed.
So your prediction is Jon?
Jon to be the leader of the realm.
Tommy?
Well, you've gone for Jon. You've mentioned Sue's democracy theory. We can take that's Sue's prediction. I'm going for Tyrion.
Ooh, I think Tyrion doesn't make it out the next episode. I said Sansa. I'll probably stick with that.
I said Sansa early on with you as well.
I no longer care.
Yeah.
I just like to spare a fault for all the parents out there all over the world who've, since this show's been out, who've named their babies Khaleesi. Because there has been a few of them. There has been a few of them, especially in America. A lot of people have been calling their kids Khaleesi.
Oh my God. Imagine.
And now look.
And that was my plan as well. Khaleesi Sheehan was on the way. All right, that is it for Off the Wall. Unless you got any final thoughts before this week.
That's a good place to end
we'd love to hear from you. You can tweet us at @offthewall_GOT on Twitter. This has been with thanks to Discover Northern Ireland and their Game of Thrones territory, boasting over 25 locations and experiences for the ultimate fan. Go and see where Euron Greyjoy got killed yourself. For more, log on to discovernorthernireland.com. We'll chat to you next week here on Off the Wall. Bye-bye for now.